we're going to go over how to create screens for your game. Now, you can think of screens as levels or as maps or different parts of what's going to be shown to the user. And you're going to want to be able to change from one level to another, so you'll have to create different screens. Now, initially, we start with demo game, which is my game. Yours might be called something different, so you'll see that it's going to say public, then a class of what your game's called, and then extends application adapter, and we're going to want to change that to game. So you can do GA, say up to M, and you're going to get this autocomplete. For this autocomplete, we're going to double click on the top one, and we do that so that we can import anything that's necessary. So make sure you use your autocomplete as many times as possible. Now, with the initial screen or game that we get, all we have is this picture that's going to be created. So let's go ahead and run that. Let's open us desktop, and then we're going to go to Java, and then we're going to click on desktop launcher, and we'll click on this green play button, and then run desktop launcher, and you're going to notice that we have Logic keys. Perfect. What we want to do is change it to a different screen that shows something else. So we're going to go ahead and right click on your package, whatever you call that package. Then we go to new and create a new package, which is where we're going to organize all of our screens, and we're going to call it screens. And inside of that, we'll right click on it, go to new, and create a Java class, which is going to be your first screen. I'm going to call it level 1, but you can call it anything that you'd like. You might maybe want to be more specific and call it something like space or farm, or you want to be I guess even more creative and maybe call each one of your levels by some other name that you might make up, or you can just do what I did and do level 1, level 2, and so on. So let's go ahead and click OK, and we're going to get this class created. Then we're going to go ahead and type in implements and autocomplete it, and we're going to say that this is going to be a screen, so capital S and C, then autocomplete screens, which is going to import screens, but it's going to give me some errors. If I hover over this, you're going to notice that I get this bar. I can hover and then just go down and click on implement methods, and it's going to say, hey, you're creating a screen, and any time that you create a screen you need to have these methods, otherwise it won't compile. So the computer will just crash whenever you try to use screen without creating these methods. So go ahead and click OK. These are going to be populated, and you're going to notice that we have our render method, which we talked about in our previous lesson about game cycles. Now this is where we're going to draw a lot of this stuff because it gets called constantly. We have other methods, but we're going to leave those blank for now, and we're going to explain them in the future. And we're going to create a constructor. Now this constructor is the code that's going to run when this screen gets created. So it has to be the same name as the class, and it's for now not going to take anything in as a parameter, and it's going to have no code. Now for a level to be able to talk to, say, other levels, or to have some logic in it, we need to be able to talk to the game class. My game class is called demo game, and my game class is currently only has one thing, which is the batch, but it's going to have a lot more stuff eventually, and that's where all my data is. So we want to be able to tell the game class, hey, something happened in this level, go ahead and you should create a different level, or hey, something happened in this level, update the score. So the game class is in charge of all of that. What we're going to do is we're going to have a reference to that. So we're going to say demo game, and then game, and we want a variable for this. So also demo game, go ahead and autocomplete it so that we can import it, and then we can say my game, and this is going to be a variable. So in here, when this level gets created, we're going to take in some game class, and we're going to say my game is going to equal to whatever game class created this. That way we can do stuff like this. We can say render my game dot, and then we can call stuff from my game. But there's a few things that we need to be able to draw stuff. So we're going to go to game here, and we notice that we have a batch. Now a batch is, think about it like a big box, and inside of that box we put everything that wants to get drawn, and then we give that box to the graphics card in your computer, and we tell the graphics card, take care of this box, and whatever's inside of it is what you're going to draw, and we're just going to tell you at different times to draw different things from that box. Now it's really expensive to give a box to the graphics card, so we can only have one of them in the whole entire game. And inside of that one box, we're going to put all the stuff that we might possibly want to draw. Now, to be able to only have one, we're going to have only one variable that gets passed around. So we're going to go here, right under render, we're going to type the word get. You're going to notice that we have some constructor or some methods that get auto populated. So we double click, and it's going to create this method called getBatch. So it's going to be able to give us that batch and give us that box so that we can put stuff inside of it from other places. In here, in render currently, with the code that came with the initial setup, what's happening is that it's saying open up the box, put some stuff inside of it to draw, and then close up the box and give it to the graphics card. So we want to do that from a different level instead. Now, to be able to do that, we're going to go to the level, and within the level we're going to draw stuff. So we're going to say my game, get the batch, so get the box and open it. So we're going to say begin, so open the box with graphics. Then we're going to say my game dot get the batch, and we're going to draw something, and it's going to be some texture at some x and some y. And that's not going to work because we don't have those variables, but we'll populate them soon. We're just going to leave it there as a placeholder, and we're going to say put stuff in the box. And then finally we're going to close the box so that we give it to the graphics card, and the graphics card will do its stuff. So close it and hand it to graphics card. Now the library is smart enough to be able to do this efficiently, but in render, and render gets called often, yes, we're going to be opening and closing that box quite frequently. That's not too expensive, but creating a whole new box and changing the box inside of the graphics card, that's super expensive, so we don't want to do that. We just want to keep one and open and close it constantly. So now we need to be able to create this texture. So we are going to have some variable of type texture, and I'm going to auto-complete it, and I'm going to call this my image, and I'm going to go here and I will get an image from say the internet. So I'm going to open up assets, I'm going to reveal this in Finder, and you're going to notice that there's only one thing right here, which is badlogic.jpg. So there's a few things that I could do. I can say download one from the internet. So I will go to the internet, and I'm going to get any picture that I want, and from there, let's say we're going to get a cat picture, and we're going to download to our desktop. So let's call it cat, let's put it in desktop, and let's make it a JPEG. Perfect. So now that I went here, I will grab this one, and I will put it in my assets like that, and you're going to notice that your assets now have a picture that you put in there. So what we want to do is we want to say my image equals new texture, and that texture is going to be made out of some asset called cat.jpg. And instead of texture here, we're going to say draw this in texture and put it at 0, 0. Perfect. Now we're going to go back to demo. We don't want to draw all of these things, but it'll be important to call this method that says super.render. We'll explain what that means in the future. So if I do this and I go ahead and run it again, currently I don't really get much. I just get this flickering screen, which is not exactly what I want. So what's happening is that we haven't created the screen in game and we haven't set it. So a class, remember, it's just sort of the template of what you might want to create at some point. But creating this code doesn't really do anything. You have to actually create a class so that this code runs. Now we're going to have another variable called of type screen called current screen. So the current screen being shown, and then we're going to say current screen screen equals to new level 1. And level 1, if you remember, we said that it was going to be created with a game so that we were able to talk to it. So we want to talk to this game. So we're going to say this game. It's going to talk to it. And then we want to set current screen. Perfect. And if we run this, you're going to see that now our picture of the cat was created. So we've set level 1, and level 1 currently shows a picture of a cat.